Sicela a moment of silence. Sicela a moment of silence. Zokala i-parade. We are about to start the parade.
Strong. Yeah. Tiny. increase. I think for me this looks better, but now the spacing. Oh, sorry. Yeah? No. Yeah? Have you made? Okay, yeah. No, I don't want it to go too slow for him. We're still moved by the images of him and that we don't go. You know I'm saying he must see the next chart. Okay, just move quicker. I think it's fine. I think let's leave it here.
Siyabonga
I think it's fine.
abaphathi bethu abakhulu abomama bethu bangena sibonga ithuba. You are welcome. Sizocela ikwaya isiphe enye item. Bukamuso choir.
Should it be or should it be? High level, then it's fine.
No. Siyabonga kakhulu sesizoqala uhlelo lethu, our formal program. Kodwa choir, we are loving your music and your sound. Please give us more.
What
Rene Ribapala Women's Day. Beautiful song. We have a beautiful group of young women, Basbiza, Marvelous 8. Marvelous 8. Ngibiza kahle. Marvelous 8. Marvelous 8. They're a dance group from the South African State Theatre. Give them a round of applause. Aye, I'm taking the MEC. Mama Wet is taking over. Let's please stand up for our MEC who's going to take us through the formal program. Marvelous 8 will definitely come back. Can you please come in and settle in? Our Honorable President. Can we please settle in? Our President is coming in, Ubaba Wetu. Thank you. You all look beautiful today. We are about to start the formal program. I'm handing over to our MEC, our mother. Sikela, everyone who is outside to kindly come in so that we can start our formal program. Beautiful ladies, please come in.
Hey, can somebody switch this thing on for me? DJ, my mic is not working. I need my mic working. Hey, la. Dumelang bagolo ke kopa re settle down bo botle President wa tsena. Bo botle, can we settle down please? Can we all rise as the President enters the hall please? Ke kopa re me ka maoto re amogele President wa rona. allow our media about 3 minutes to take the photos, and then we'll dismiss you. 3 minutes. 3 minutes for your photo op. Ralebuga. Media, your 3 minutes is done. Media, your 3 minutes is done. Marshals, help us. Media, your 3 minutes is done. Thank you very much. Ralebuga. Arenang khatse rutwa president o re tshwaretse molaetsa o mofeng. Arenang khatse re tsang molaetsa go tswa mo presidente. Arenang khatse re tsang molaetsa go tswa mo presidente wa rona. President, Premier, Ministers, you may be seated. You may be seated, thank you. Ralebuga, ari tukisetseng go tsa molaetsa from our president. Bagolo e re ke le dumediseng gape ka tlotlo le boikokobetso. Re tla re simololeng ka tiro ya rona ya letsatsi ya bomme ya di 8 tsa August. Re tlo simolla ka o tsa thapelo, ke tlo kopa Bishop Constance Sibia ate a re bulele tiro ya rona ka thapelo. Bishop Constance ne re kopa o tla o tlo re bulela ka thapelo. A re nneng kgatse bagolo, a re nneng kgatse bo botle. A re nneng kgatse ra mogele Bishop Constance Sibia re tla re simolle ka potso ka program ya rona ya letsatsi ke a itse le nyoreletswe president wa rona o tshwantse gore a tle re mo fe sebaka le ene. Bishop
Ndima Siari ndo swika pano dzina langa ndi Bishop Constance Sibia. I'm the Bishop for Children and Women. I'm honored to be standing in front of our President this morning. I acknowledge him. I acknowledge the Deputy President. I acknowledge everyone, and I know protocol will be observed. So without any further ado, beloved, allow me to just read a small passage that signifies this day, that makes this day the best day in South Africa, because women are acknowledged. I will then read here from Philippians chapter 4, verse number 8 and 9. I will do it in both English and Venda. I will start with my home language, Venda. Vahashu. Chosala hondiri. mihumbulo yanu kha ilive kha zwavhuḓi, kha zwi re ngoho, fhedzi na kha zwi re na vhutshilo, na kha zwoṱhe zwine zwa tamisa, zwoṱhe zwino nga sa hezwi zwo fanela nga uri ri zwi takalele. Let me read it in English as well. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent, praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received, see in me, but it is for you to put in practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Hallelujah. Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you are God Almighty, King of Kings, excellent God. We gather in this fashion this morning, our God, because you chose the women to lead South African women 67 years ago, that they may come and break the limitations that were put upon women. Today we are celebrating. Today we are commemorating. Today we are free. Today you have broken all the limitation because of the women you have chosen. They came, mothers, and said, no limitation. Therefore, we stand in awe of your glory this morning, our Father. We say, may the name of the Lord be glorified because of the women of South Africa who have strength, who have power, who stood and faced the challenges for the sake of people like us today. We are standing today with no limitation because of the women of that caliber. Thus, today we stand as South Africa, we say, Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Yeah. Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. Malibongwe. Arulebuke Bishop Sibia. Now I'm going to ask that all of us we rise, because we are now going to take the national anthem. Re kopa bontate ba puledi kuane, re kopa go fokotse movement, re tle re tse our national anthem e re tlo e fang ke choir ya rona. Didimalo bongwana ke kwale ke kopela le didimale bana ba ka kere ba culture ke re ke le tswa ko departmenteng ya sports, arts, culture and recreation. A re didimaleng ge. We remain standing. We remain standing. We can now take our seats so that we can proceed with the program. Bokamoso Choral ra le leboga le lona for your beautiful voices. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bagolo lebitso la ka ke Morakani Musupye. I will be your program director for today. Program ya rona is not going to be very long. I am not alone in the duty that I will be helping you with today. My co-program director, Deputy Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disability, Honorable Sisisi Tolashe, and okay. Maikarabelo ame ke MEC ya Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation mo Gauteng. Re lebogela megolokwane eo re kopela gore le nne ntse le fa le ba ba megolokwane as it comes along. Akere bomme a bana tshele. Bomme a bana tshele, bomme ba tshwara thipa ka fa bogaleng, bomme ba fepa bana, bomme ba godisa setšhaba. O utlwa? Ke tsatsi la lona ka tseno bomme. Ntetleng ge ka one ke le program director ke re di acknowledgements tsa rona ke starte ka rre wa rona ntate wa rona president ya rona President His Excellency President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. Ere before ke ya ko cabineteng ya gae ke acknowledge gape mme wa rona mme Sophie Williams de Brain o ileng gore she's okay ke acknowledge gape di ministers tsa rona ke simolle ka mme gape a ke re ka tseno re bias re fa bo mme ke tsatsi la bo mme ne a gona tla nnang le tsele le rona ke rona re tlisitseng batho bo botle ba mo lefatsheng le bontate ba belege ke rona ba itse le bona. So marara barata kere. Okay. Ke acknowledge ge minister in presidency for women, youth and persons with disability Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Ke acknowledge hape the minister ra go stata ka ba bo mme pele Minister Mamoluku Kubai ona le rona. Okay, ere ke go bontateng ya nong tsere ba rata fela bjalo ke acknowledge in our presence Minister Beki Cele. Minister Zigalala, Minister Zizi Kodwa, my partner in crime, Kachenu, and then the deputy ministers, Minister Mewarona, Oilong Hore, yo, yeah. Kamukori to some more departmenting, I don't know how to describe you. The deputy minister, Honorable Noklawe Mafu. Okay. Premier Kitlofeletsa ka wena kwena mongwa motse ka jeno ereki acknowledge hape in our presence we have embassies, the embassy of Jamaica, Venezuela, Ukraine, Austria, from Britain as well, and Palestine. We have those embassies here with us. I also want to acknowledge now the Premier of Gauteng, Premier Panyaza Lisufi. Yeah, Mr. Nasi Spanish himself. Deputy Minister, yeah, okay. Minister, Deputy Minister, let me get your name properly. Oh, yes. Deputy Minister, there's too many names for me to acknowledge. Okay, we also have MECs. There's the MEC wa Community Safety, MEC Mazibugo. MEC for Health, MEC Nkomora Lehoku, wa Health and Wellness. Okay, I'm going now to acknowledge political parties tsa rona tse di leng teng. Oh no, Eric acknowledge pele Magosi, Khosi Dlamini le Bogosi ba Dlamini ba ba leng teng le lona ra leboga ge le teng, ra le acknowledge. And let me also acknowledge the MMC for Community and Social Development, Peggy the Brain for MMC wa Tshwane. Let me also acknowledge under the leadership of our DG in the national DG with all of the officials that report to you. What MEC Mazibuko normally referred to as Mazet. Oh, okay. I apologize. Mazet 83, why you has no but acknowledge you make it possible for us to be doing our work. So all of the officials baba linteng baba tleng. But the most important people by acknowledge today is yourselves, people who decided to come and celebrate this day with us. Most important of all, Bom Mayor, Rally acknowledge Alilona. So, like I said, my co-program director, the deputy minister, I'm going to make sure that we don't keep you here for too long, so that you can get the message that you came for to receive from the president today. So, I'm going to welcome the Premier of Gauteng to come and welcome all of us to today's program. Premier Panyaza Lisufi.
Thank you. Ke a leboga. Thank you. Oi, President Ramaphosa, oi. Oi, President Ramaphosa, oi. Oi, Auntie Sophie Tibrain, oi. Oi, Auntie Sophie Tibrain, oi. Oi, Mama Nkosazana, oi. Oi, Mama Sisi Tolashe, oi. Oi, MMC, oi. Thank you so much, truly appreciate it. I want to acknowledge the entire leadership of government led by our president, Ntate Cyril Ramaphosa. I also want to acknowledge the leadership that comes from all various institutions of government, the church, traditional leaders, and all those institutions that are representing various sectors of our society. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gauteng. If Western Cape can't do it, Gauteng will always be ready to do it. We want to thank the Minister for relocating strategically this event to come to Gauteng. This is an affirmation that Gauteng is always ready. It's an affirmation that Gauteng is going nowhere. Ayindawo. And we want to thank our president and the national leadership and those that were responsible for this event. Mr. President, the 9th of August is not a ritual. The 9th of August is an affirmation that all our women are too special for our government. The 9th of August is not a ritual. The 9th of August is a reaffirmation that whatever women want in our country, they must get it without any further delay. The 9th of August in our country is not an opportunity for us just to acknowledge women. It's an affirmation that will empower women. It's an affirmation that will support women. It's an affirmation that will care for our women, but also it's a call that any other person that is not allowed to touch our women and dare touch our women will find us ready and will crush that person. As we gather here on this historic day, we want to pay tribute to those that played a crucial role for us to be here. We are products of Mami Sophie Tibrain. We are products of Winnie Madikizela Mandela. We are products of Bertha Kowa. We are products of Helen Joseph. We are products of Fatima Miem. We are product of Umama Albertina Sisulu. And we are product of powerful women that stood for us when we couldn't stand for ourselves. As we welcome all of you into our province, we want to send a very strong message that if you dare touch our women, if you dare stop our women from growing, if you dare stop our women from occupying strategic position, if you dare harm our women, singaisusa noma yini. Thank you so much. You are all welcome to the beautiful Gauteng. It starts here.
Okay. Hi, adjustments. No? Yeah, thank you very much. A round of applause for the Premier of Gauteng. Awa batho mo papatele matsogo tle. That's more like it. Ra leboga bagolo re tswela pele ka program, and now we are going to take a performance item. Re tlo kopa mo Africa wa Mokati gore a re performele ke ena ola ke mme le ena. Over to you, my darling.
Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah. Wah. Women
from near and far, you here and there. This poem, it's a call to you. This poem is not about proving that women can work together without squabbles. This poem is not about a child's fantastic cry for a name. This poem is about women. This poem, it's a city beneath the ground, sprouting names, begging to be remembered. This poem, it's a city beneath the ground, sprouting names, begging to be remembered. Hang our names on the washing lines. We want to be seen. We have been here before. Because I am from a lineage of warrior women, women of fortitude. Ka re ke belegwa ke basadi dikwankwe, basadi di tswerere ba wema ka sebete gobane ba ikwishisha. I come from a lineage of women. I come from a lineage of Queen Jinga, of Nefertiti, of Makeda. I come from a lineage of Queen Mujaji. I come from a lineage of women who never sat on the sidelines, but they fought side by side with this man. I am born of victory woman. I am born of comrade mama who understands that street committees can collect us all to unify us. I am from a woman who need broken hearts together. Gather verses to heal the broken wound. I am born of warrior women of fortitude. Those whose names are still in the cracks, forgotten in history. These women, remember their names. I am of the women who the last woman who signed on that petition to march to these union buildings. I am born of women of virtue, of vigor and vitality. So hang their names on the washing lines. They want to be seen. We have been here before. We have been here before. Transcending through the light. Transcending through the dark. And no slave master gonna find us. And no power monger gonna find us. God, we have been here before. We have walked this path before. We have been here before. We have walked this path before. So please, hang our names on the washing lines. We want to be seen. We are here. Happy Women's Month.
Rauleboga Tlennake for ululating basadi ka mokgwa and acknowledging them. Rauleboga. Allow me also to acknowledge in our presence MEC Mahasa, who is the MEC for Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation in the Free State. We are now going to be receiving a message of support from our beloved mother, Mayor Sophie de Brain, but because she has told us that her voice, her throat is a little bit scratchy, she has asked her daughter to come and deliver the message on her behalf. So if we can then, allow her to come on stage. All three of you, you're welcome. The stairs are on the side. Come and deliver the message on behalf of our mother. Le go fitlhe bagaetsho.
Thank you so much, MEC Mosepe. His Excellency, Honorable President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, our beloved Honorable Premier Panyaza Lesufi, our Honorable Minister Mamkosazana Dlamini Zuma, our host for today, the esteemed Honorable Minister Zizi Kodwa, also Honorable Ministers present, Becky Tlele, Minister Sihle Zikalala, Minister Mamukulu Kubai, Deputy Ministers present, MECs, officials of government, church leaders, business leaders, esteemed guests, and also to our newly minted President of the ANC Women's League, Mamsisisi Tolashe. So happy to have you here. Having greeted everyone present and requesting that please we acknowledge that all protocol has been observed, I'm sure that we are all more than delighted to be gathered here today at Union Buildings, once again on these hallowed grounds where the march that we are celebrating took place 67 years ago. 20,000 courageous and determined women articulated their demands, and they said, enough is enough. So we stand here on behalf of our mother, Sophie de Bruyn, who has asked me to deliver her message because her voice is not strong enough to carry today. Mom asked that I thank you, Minister Zizi Kodwa, for the very kind invitation, and to thank the team in your office for all of the arrangements that you made for Mom to be able to be here today, and also enabling Danielle, my sister, and Trudy, my sister-in-law, to also join us here today. We are very honored and humbled, Minister Kodwa, for acknowledging our mother in such a special way. Thank you. Thank you. So, on behalf of Mama Sophie, this message is entitled, A Message of Hope, Courage, and Perseverance. So, as we are gathered here to declare that the women of South Africa are in good hands with this government and will not die in our hands, we continue to take on this responsibility as the detachment of the women of the ANC. You all once again rekindle in me many memories of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and memories of the 90s, as well as our current period. Any of us looking at this tapestry of history, and this generation here in this room, will soon remember many of our heroes, young and old, who played their part, and some who paid the supreme sacrifice. I have now crossed over to the second half of the age of 80, second half of the 80s. We are so blessed and grateful for you, Mom. I started my journey in the Congress movement of the ANC as a young girl in the trade union movement in Port Elizabeth, now Tlebeja. I traveled that journey in the untarnished and able hands of giants in our liberation struggle. Giants like Govan Mbeki, like Ray Nhlaba, and Vuyisile Mini. Comrade Vuyisile was later hanged with a noose around his neck by apartheid thugs. Later on, I came to live in the then Transvaal, now Johannesburg, Gauteng. I continued my journey and was in the forefront of the struggle for the cause of women, and together with many outstanding women of the Congress movement of the time and of the ANC. Remembering so many of these women in my journey really evokes strong emotions within me. Allow me, comrades, to briefly trace this roll call In the 1956 march, we marched with Mam Lillian Ngoy, Mam Helen Joseph, Mam Rahima Musa, and an army of women shouting our slogan. That slogan is still our clarion call today. It is, Watinta Bafazi, Watinti Mbogoto. If you have struck a woman, you have struck a rock. This slogan is representative of our resolve to claim what is ours and for what is ours to remain ours. In the 60s, when all roads of peaceful protests were closed, the ANC decided to embark on armed struggle. Many women then and since joined the ranks of Umkhonto weSizwe. Umkhonto weSizwe being the military wing of the ANC. Women like Me Ruth Mompati, Me Gertrude Shope, Me Yolisa Modise, Valentina Watson, Me Florence Maposho, Mam Jackie Sedibe, Me Sue Rapkin, Marion Spark, Janet Love, Rajesh Lakshmi Pillay, and many, many other women comrades of MK, brave, courageous soldiers of our military wing. In 1961, a group of 25 qualified nurses and midwives were recruited through the efforts of our beloved icon, Oliver Reginald Tambo. Recruited through volunteering from across South Africa to assist the newly independent country, previously Tanganyika, today's Tanzania, which was facing uncertainty and many challenges as the British left that country. So they remain unsung heroines, even today. In the period of the 1970s and 80s, we saw many young women joining the ranks of the ANC and MK, and some of them are no longer with us today. Together with the nurses that we are acknowledging today, we want to dip our revolutionary banners in honor of all the fallen heroines of our movement and of our struggle. There is so much that we can talk about in terms of the role that women played, giving support, participating in the work and the campaigns of the ANC. They made sacrifices and determinedly withstood the enormous ongoing challenges that they faced, as women of this country even today face such challenges. Time does not allow me to give you an in-depth background of all of what women have done and participated in our liberation movement. Today was to briefly, once again, remind us of the history as we gather here today for this special occasion, that we stand on the broad shoulders of great women that we should emulate and women that we should never forget. Women of the caliber and strength of Ray Alexander, Nelly Jibiliza, Mildred Lesia, Nana, also known as Liz Abrams, Chrissy Jason, Stella Damons, Dolores Telling, Ida Mtwana, Mary Moodley, Ama Naidu, Amina Kachalia, Vesta Smith, Blanche Laguma, Albertina Sisulu, and Mam Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Mam Ida Mtwana, as some of you may remember, was the first president of FEDSAW, the Federation of South African Women. She participated in the Defiance Campaign and in the Congress of the People of Kliptown of 1955. That was the genesis of the Freedom Charter, as we all know. Mam Ida was known for her melodious singing voice, and it echoed throughout the plains of Kliptown. She also ended up being part of the treason trial and passed away in 1960, before the end of the treason trial. So this is a little bit of history of some of the women we celebrate today, we honor and we acknowledge. We should never forget these formidable women and many other heroines who stood tall and fought hard in the fight against apartheid. We gather here under enormous, difficult challenges as women, and I dare say, under attack from many, many fronts. Our country is facing huge economic challenges. Unemployment, as we know, is unbearably high. Certainly, it is hard hitting on us women. We are the providers of safe havens to so many, and it really affects our families. The pervasive poverty is so evident in every walk we take, and that too is biting us as women, since we are the providers of sustenance for our families. The triple oppression of women is now even more pronounced. And when you consider these huge challenges, especially through the current economic climate, we have the predatory gender-based violence battle that we are fighting, which has reached shocking levels. No woman is safe, young and old, no one is escaping this scourge. As we gather here today, please let us consider all of these issues in our own spaces and where we can make a difference. I would personally plead that we move away from generalities to finding practical measures to address these challenges. Gone are the days of the 1950s and before that, despite the enormous contribution that women made, they were not recognized to enter high positions of leadership because of patriarchy. Yes, there's still patriarchy today, but today we're in positions of authority as women to be able to make real and tangible differences to the lives of our women. So let us use that authority to make the lives of our women better. We must continue to have hope that our sincere and united and effective actions as women will defeat the many scourges and battle that we live with. We should also never give up, but persevere and keep making even little efforts, which cumulatively is the key to success. Because these little acts of defiance against the battles in our society also constitute courage, a fundamental strength which speak truth to power, just like the women of the 1956 march. Because of their determination, dignity, and recognizing their own potential, we know it is possible, just as we women and all women in our country today have achieved much for themselves through their own efforts and by demanding their rights. But government and society as a whole needs to come closer together and cooperate as they have done in other spaces, and coming together specifically to address the women's needs, the needs of women practically. After so many years without an ANC Women's League conference, I express my heartiest congratulations that you made it to gather for your conference. May I salute and congratulate the National Task Team and the new leadership of the ANC Women's League. I wish to also congratulate all provincial PTTs and the branches of the Women's League across the length and breadth of South Africa. You successfully concluded this mammoth task, which was overdue. Well done. So, in concluding my humble delivery, I would like to congratulate all of you and wish you a very successful Women's Month. A giant army of South African women has been awoken. We see it in so many spheres, and most recently, our women proudly flying the flag in the international space of the global sports arena. We express special congratulations to our dear Proteas netball team and to our beloved Banyana soccer heroes. So let us be united and considerate at all times. Let us love one another. Let us always respect and value each other. Enjoy the rest of your Women's Day and the rest of your Women's Month. God bless you and God bless the women of South Africa. Amen. Amandla! Amandla! Malibongwe!
Another round of applause for that beautiful, beautiful message from our mother, Mama Sophia Dubrain, delivered by her beautiful daughters. Bagolo, ladies and gentlemen, ke batla go le leboga for allowing me to run the first part of our program. But before I leave the podium, ke na le kopo from this side, bongwana ke mola ba arts and culture, ke kopa le nneng le tidimalo tle, ke a le kopa le ska nna ntse le disturba batho ge ba bua tu. Ke a itse le na le tlhompho kgale re bereka le lona, ke a le kopa ne ka boikokobetso tle. So ke batla go le leboga gape, and ke re our poet said to us that the names of women who contributed to the freedom that we enjoy today must be hung up for everybody to acknowledge. Now we got the names of that women who contributed to our freedom. I'm going to hand over now to my co-program director, who also was acknowledged when I opened the program in both her role as the president of the Women's League, but also as a deputy minister. She will be doing further acknowledgements and run the second half of the program. Ke kopa re mo amogeleng ka le go fitlhe.
Thank you, comrades.
Thank you very much, my dear program director. Everybody has been acknowledged. Thank you so much, my sister. I really want to acknowledge the women's political parties that are present here. I belong to one of those. I cannot really appreciate and say, hi, sisters, hi. Hi, sisters, hi. Thank you so much. And now, as we are going to move faster with our program, we are going to call one of our own, a tried and tested leader of the ruling party, a cadre of the movement who has been around for quite the longest time. She is part of us. She has led almost all the structures of our liberation movement. She has been deployed in different departments as a head, majority of time as minister. I guess, President, one day you will call her Miss Fix It. Because whenever there's a problem, in whatever way, she's always brought to that and she resolved all those. I'm going to call upon now the Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability, Umama Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Albo! bafazi. Atiti bokoto. Watitu mama. Thank you so much. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you very much to our program director, who is also the Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability. Of course, the brand new president of the ANC Women's League. Greetings to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa. Greetings to Umama Usofi Brain, on whose shoulders we stand. Greetings to the Premier of Gauteng. The Honorable Panyasa. Greetings to the MMC. And greetings to the ministers who are here, deputy ministers, members of parliament, members of political parties who are here, and more importantly, all of you who have decided to spend your day here. Watinta bafazi, uzokufa finish. I'm honored and humbled to participate in this commemoration of the fearless, organized, united women who ensured that they came and stormed the citadel of power where nobody had done it before. I won't say men, I'll just say nobody had done it before. And they came and they said, Watinta bafazi. And they did this because they lived in a patriarchal society, but they wanted to bequeath future generations with a better South Africa than the one they were living in. Because it's imperative that every generation bequeaths to the next a better country than the one they found. But I won't say a lot today because we have our own president who's going to speak. But I just want to say something about patriarchy. And I want to quote from one of our finest sons of the continent, Thomas Sankara. As Thomas Sankara said, and I quote, Frederick not only traced the evolution of technology, but also the history of the enslavement of women, which was born with the arrival of private property, owing to the transition from one mode of production to another, and from one form of social organization to another. Mankind first knew slavery with the advent of private property. Man became the master of his slave and the land, and also became the owner of the woman. This was the great historic defeat of the female sex. It came about with the upheaval in the division of labor as a result of new modes of production and a revolution in the means of production. In this way, paternal rights replaced maternal rights. And property was now handed down from father to son rather than from the woman to her clan. The patriarchal family and patriarchal society made its appearance. Founded on the sole and personal property of the father who had become the head of family. Within the family, the woman, and within society, the woman was oppressed. In South Africa, that translated into what Umamu Sofi was saying, triple oppression. We got oppressed because we were women,
according to our race because we were black, and class because we were workers. So I just thought today, as we remember those giants who fought this patriarchal system and bequeathed us with a South Africa that was better, we have made strides since democracy, but a lot more still needs to be done. Let me say, even God did not create women as oppressed. There was equality in that Garden of Eden. God created an equal society for us. So we must go back to that equal society. And also South Africa, Mr. President, is not free. O.R. Tambo said no country can boast of being free until its women are free. So we are not free. South Africa is not free. It will only be free when we are free as women. And I just want to touch on GBV and femicide and that sketch. I want to say, as government, President, let's take the district model approach, even on GBV. Let's say in every ward, the councillor must be at the forefront of fighting GBV. Induna, Inkosi, the religious leader in that ward must be at the forefront of fighting GBV. If we can do that, I think we can start to make a dent. And in every ward, we should say zero tolerance to GBV. You are not going to live in this ward if you are going to abuse and kill and harm women. So I think if we take that approach, we can make some inroads. And of course, we also think that I believe that our ancestors look upon us. And I think today they are very happy. They are happy because Banyana Banyana has made history. They are not only the African champions, but they were able to get into the round of 16. And they do that against very difficult challenges. There is no women's soccer league in the country. There must be. They get paid less than their male counterparts. The wage gap in South Africa is still there. Iceland has made it illegal to pay a woman less than a man for work of equal value. Shouldn't we do that as well? Yes. I think we should do that as well. They are also happy because I'm sure they were with us in Cape Town when the Spar netball Proteas were playing there, and they bequeathed themselves very well. And I'm sure the president will say more on that, I won't. Before I conclude, women must have access to justice. There are very serious problems with women accessing justice. I won't go further than that. It's a story for another day, but it must be mentioned. The LGBTQIA+ must stop being killed, discriminated against. They must have their rights like all of us. But women must be in the economy of this country, not just in the formal, not only in the small and medium, but they must also be part of the big corporates in this country. This country won't reach its full potential unless women participate equally in every area of human endeavor. Malibongwe! Malibongwe! It is now my singular honor to call upon our President, His Excellency Cyril Batamela Ramaphosa.
Amandla. Amandla. Forward with the women of South Africa, forward. Amandla. Dumelang. Dimasiari. Abshein. Sanbonani. Molweni. Lochani. Good afternoon to you all. Program Director, Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Minister Zizi Kodwa, and other ministers who are also here today, as well as our deputy ministers. The Premier of the Gauteng province, kana babisa mampanya panya kapa babisa ma. Okay. The MMC of the Mayoral Committee of Tshwane, members of Parliament who are here with us today, representatives and leaders of various political parties here present, religious leaders, our traditional leaders who are also here with us, and community leaders also here present, and guests both representing various countries and guests from around the country as well, and more importantly, Mama Sophie de Bruyn. I greet all the women of South Africa on this very special, auspicious day, the 9th of August, Women's Day. Today, as men and as women, we celebrate the beautiful mothers of our nation, our sisters who are also beautiful, our grandmothers who are outstandingly beautiful, and our daughters who are extraordinarily beautiful. Together, we thank the women of South Africa for the role that they have played in the life of our nation. And the role of women in our country has been phenomenal. Today, we celebrate how far we have come in building a non-sexist society where women, and we are striving to ensure that women become freer, and attain that moment, Minister Dlamini Zuma, of total freedom, where women, and we are doing this, we are inspiring that women should enjoy equal rights to those of men as guaranteed by our Constitution. As we do this, we recall the suffering that the women of our country have endured for no reason other than that they were women. And of course, they have also suffered under another form of oppression, which is because the majority of them are black or were black during the apartheid days, and also because they came from the working class stock. We remember the courageous struggles waged by women against oppression, from those who stood up against colonialism and slavery, to those who risked jail rather than carry the hated dompas or the pass. We remember those women who took up arms against a violent regime, who organized workers to fight exploitation, and who led political movements as well as civic movements, and who were involved in the drafting also of our new constitution. Today, of all days, we salute Imbokodo, Amakawekazi, the brave pioneers who marched onto the Union buildings here on this day in 1956. There are few moments more compelling in our history than the day when tens of thousands of women gathered in the amphitheater of these Union buildings. I often tell people that whenever we had visits from other countries, when heads of state come here, I always take them to what we have put at the Union buildings to symbolize that march on the Union buildings. Two rocks, one forming the base and one inside the base as a grinding stone. And I always take time to tell them in some detail about the march of 20,000 women on the Union buildings. We are still moved by the images of women like Lillian Ngoyi, Rahima Musa, Sophie de Bruyn, and Helen Joseph, carrying armfuls of petitions from the women of South Africa. I still remember that picture where Mahama de Bruyn was carrying these reams of papers, beautiful as she still looks today. We are honored and privileged to have amongst us today this remarkable woman, Auntie Sophie de Bruyn. We are grateful for your lifetime of service and your continued contribution to the cause of women's emancipation. And all of us, Mama de Bruyn, we say thank you. Thank you for the sacrifices that you and those who were with you made to get us where we are. The women marched here to the Union buildings, to the seat of the apartheid power, to demand the end to laws that were intended to deprive them of their rights and dignity as black women. Today, all the women of South Africa, whether they are black, white, Indian, or colored, do have rights that we can celebrate today. We thank them for the bravery of activism and sacrifices of that generation of 1956. Thanks to the struggle over the generations, all South African women have the right to vote today, which women did not have. They have the right to work, a right that was restricted or limited just to menial jobs and domestic work. They have the right to have control over their bodies, the right also to property, and to be able to own assets, even though that right is still restricted. On this Women's Day, we pay tribute to Imbokodo from across South Africa for their resilience. Despite the hardships, the deprivation, and the many difficulties, South African women continue to stand strong. They bring up the nation. The children are brought up, all of us were brought up by the women of South Africa. And we must celebrate that. And we must thank the women of our country for making us to be what we are today. We say thank you very much. Indeed, you are the mothers of the nation. The women of our country today run businesses. They earn livings. They learn skills. They raise families. And they lead organizations. And today they also hold public office. Even when opportunities are difficult to come by, South African women do not give up rather. They do not run away. They do not succumb. They actually stick to the job because, as it is often said, bomme kapo basadi ba tshwara thipa ka bohaleng ba yona. A free translation meaning the women of South Africa hold the life on its sharp end. That's the determination that the women of our country have, and we applaud you for that. We applaud the women of our country for the courage that they have. In every part of this country, women are taking charge of their destinies. They are also inspiring others, and they are also driving change. They are excelling in areas once closed to women, as engineers, as scientists, as managers, as pilots, as farmers, as athletes, as soldiers. And when it comes to soldiers, that's when I admire them the most, because I always see them on Armed Forces Day carrying the very big guns with lipstick on their mouths, and I always wonder, lipstick and a big gun, how do the two connect? But the women of our country have broken into those areas. And today in Durban and Kabeja, the women of our country under Transnet, they are now shepherding 7 vessels into the sea in an all-women crew. The women of the country are forging into areas that we never thought they would be. They are captains, they are pilots, they are on fighter jets, and they are going into various areas. So women are the strength of our nation. They carry our nation, and the women of our country prepare the next generation for a better future. And as a country, we have come a long way in advancing the rights of women. This is largely due to the struggles that the women of our country waged and continue to wage. And on this, I will say to the women of our country, never ever stop and never ever give up. You must continue the pressure to ensure that women do get their due right in this country. That we must continue to do. Because in the end, the women of our country, being the majority population section in our country, have to get what is due to them. And also, there is the question that the women of our country have raised repeatedly, and this is about representation. The women of our country have demanded that they need to be represented in every endeavor that affects the lives of South Africans. And they have clearly said nothing about them without them being involved. And this must become a reality, because without these types of insistence and struggle, we would not be where we are. Since the advent of democracy in 1994, we have put policies and laws in place to empower women, to improve their lives, and to advance gender equality. And we see some of these achievements in a number of areas. Yes, in education, we see the advancement. We see how women are surging forward. South Africa has one of the highest literacy rates in our region, on the continent. There is parity between girls and boys in primary school enrollment. More female learners sit for matric than males. Female learners are achieving more bachelor passes, and one could actually safely say women are proving to be cleverer than men, and we applaud this. Yes, you only need to go to check the matric results. You will see that the young girls are surging forward. So, Premier, girls and women are cleverer than you and me. So let's accept that. Young women make up the majority of students enrolled in higher education institutions, in our colleges and in our universities. And we should encourage this and make sure that this goes on and advances forward. We want to see an increase, yes, in the representation of women in all respects. In our parliament, yes, we are seeing more and more women being represented. In the judiciary, we are seeing more and more women surging forward. In public service, in the armed forces, as well as in the police, and in many local councils, we are getting closer and closer to gender parity. In the cabinet that I lead, there is parity between men and women, and we have made sure that we will keep that 50-50 balance in the cabinet of the Republic of South Africa. In order to advance the lives of women, there must be policies and laws that focus and advance the women of our country. Our laws and policies must have a bias towards improving the lives of women. And we'd like to see, as we draft our laws, to ensure that we use a microscope to see how best the interests and the lives of our women can be improved. And that is a process that the women who sit in my cabinet, that the women who sit in our parliament are also beginning to make sure that it happens. Because in the end, this will deal a blow against patriarchy in places where patriarchy still exists. And so we want to see that happening. In our education system, we do want and intend and are advancing and prioritizing the role and participation of women. And We want young women to make up the majority in the various disciplines that are offered by our institutions of higher learning. We still, however, have a problem with girls dropping out of school, often due to difficulties at home, as a society and as families. And as a nation, we must ensure that our girls stay at school and that they finish school. And I call upon parents to ensure that our girls do stay at schools and do continue to higher levels of education, because our government has made it its task to ensure that there's appropriate funding for the children and the young people of our country at institutions of education. The health of women must be a key priority as well. We should remember it was President Nelson Mandela who decided right at the dawn of our democracy that pregnant women and children under 6 should get free health care. We have advanced even much further since 1994. Women's health outcomes continue to improve as a result of progressive policies around reproductive health, antenatal care, HIV/AIDS, and other communicable diseases. Even though women's health outcomes have improved by a number of indicators, women still carry the largest share of burden of HIV and are more vulnerable to sexually transmitted diseases. Despite our laws, women and girls in many parts of the country still struggle to access reproductive health services. And this has to improve, and our health services need to be more accessible, and this is a priority that our Department of Health will also be focusing attention on. The participation of women in our economy must also be improved. Our economy remains dominated by men. More women are unemployed than men. When you look at our unemployment figures, you find that it is more women who are unemployed than men. And this has become and is a priority for our government. Women are more likely to work part-time. They are more likely to be unskilled and semi-skilled, and they get much lower pay than men. And women are disproportionately responsible for unpaid care work. And it is in this area where we say there must be equal pay for equal work, and women can no longer be paid lower than men for the same work that they do. Minister, we must now advance to, yes, ensuring that there is a law that will ban discriminatory pay between men and women for the same job. We will now pilot, because it is inherently unjust, it's inherently unfair. And we also see this with the underpayment of our women sports people. And I will deal with that in a little while. We saw that last year, or was it earlier this year? It was last year when the women won the African Cup of Nations. And in the end, we found that they were being paid less than men. And I made a call then that there must be equality of payment between men and women at that level. In fact, right now, I'm sure you will all join me. They should actually be getting more paid because they perform better than our men. So as a result of all this, women are more vulnerable to poverty, to food insecurity, and to hunger. Even today, nearly 3 decades after the dawn of democracy, the face of poverty is still the face of a black woman. And that also must be changed. The emancipation of women, therefore, cannot be achieved without economic empowerment. Women must be breadwinners. They must have equal job opportunities. They must be able to start and own and manage their own businesses. Women need to have financial security and independence to have control over their lives. We are determined to make the most available resources to make a difference in the lives of young women, women with disabilities, rural women, as well as LGBTQI+ women. We are making a difference in the lives of women who are involved in small, medium enterprises, in cooperatives, and also in the informal sector. Among other things, government is supporting women's economic empowerment through public procurement. We have made a commitment as government to allocate at least 40% of public procurement to women-owned businesses. And Minister Dlamini Zuma is looking at a various number of mechanisms to make sure that this does happen, including up to moving to a level where we will have regulations and legal as well as legislative prescripts that will ensure that indeed the women of our country do get empowered. While government departments are working in earnest to award more contracts to women-owned businesses, we need to do much more. As things stand, less than 1/3 of the companies listed on the government central supplier database are women-owned. We want this to change. We have trained more than 6,000 women entrepreneurs to take part in public procurement opportunities. The success of this program has convinced me of the need to train more and more women entrepreneurs in their thousands. When I was given the report that we have only trained 6,000, I said I want tens and tens of thousands of women to be trained in this way. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which is now in implementation mode, will give women-owned businesses in our country and across the African continent access to new markets and opportunities. And this is precisely where we want our women to participate, and we want to strengthen their hand and to have them well prepared and well trained and well resourced to be able to participate in this. We are working with partners on opportunities for women's employment and entrepreneurship in agriculture, in manufacturing, in technology, and also the oceans economy and others. The green economy presents immense potential for women's entrepreneurship and empowerment, especially in renewable energy. In a number of cities and towns, there are many women who are established as green entrepreneurs, working in recycling, in greening, in climate-smart agriculture, and in a number of other avenues. We call on the business community to support women's economic empowerment by partnering with small businesses that are led and owned by women as part of their green economy plans. There is also immense opportunity for young women in public employment initiatives. since it was established in 2020, the Presidential Employment Stimulus has provided work and livelihood support and opportunities to more than 1.2 million people. Of the participants in the program, more than 60% of the participants are women. And this is something that we need to celebrate, but we also need to increase, because we need to see more and more women participating in a greater pool of the participants that can participate in these types of public employment initiatives. We will ensure that our just transition to low carbon climate resilient society protects the interests of women as it does for all those affected, and that it offers opportunities for women workers and women-owned businesses as well. Government continues to support women-owned businesses to expand and to diversify. We are specifically increasing our support for small medium enterprises through the National Empowerment Fund, through the small enterprise finance agencies and other mechanisms that we have. And working with the financial services sector, we are looking to close the gender gap so that women can access banking services and credit for their businesses. As a country, we have the right policies and programs in place. Led by the women of our country, we will continue to develop policies that will advance the interests of the women of South Africa. What we need now is to intensify the collective efforts of all social partners, including business, to do more financially to empower women. Businesses in particular must follow government's lead to set aside at least 40% of their spending to the empowerment of women. If businesses could say, and we want to direct them and encourage them to move in that way, that up to 40% of what they procure or what they buy will be directed to women-owned businesses and women-managed businesses, our economy will really start growing more effectively, because women will be playing a key role in the economy of our country. Violence perpetrated by men against women and girls continues to be an assault on our common humanity. Women do not feel safe in their homes. They do not feel safe in the streets of our country, and they do not feel safe wherever they walk. And we therefore want to make sure that we bring gender-based violence to an end. This we should do through implementing the National Strategic Plan to combat gender-based violence and femicide, a plan which was conceived by the women of our country, and we want to applaud women organizations for having led the whole process of getting our country to finally adopt a national strategic plan. We have made important progress since the plan was launched. Women did complain that whenever women had to be, when they had been abused by men, when they went to police stations to report their cases of abuse, they were always met by insensitive police officers at police stations who treated their cases with lack of urgency and seriousness. We have listened to this, and government has ensured that this injustice is addressed. Minister Bheki Cele is one of those who listened very, very closely. And as a result, more than 12,000 police members have received training to respond effectively to gender-based violence and to focus on the needs of victims of gender-based violence. More than 1 million DNA collection kits have been delivered to police stations around the country since 2019, and there are now just over 1,000 victim-friendly rooms at police stations countrywide. And I'd like to encourage women's organizations to keep an eye on this. As you visit our police stations, just make sure that indeed those rooms that we say exist indeed do exist, so that every police station in our country must have a room that is well equipped, a room that is designed to cater for the needs of women who come to report abuse cases. Yes, I'm encouraging you to be our inspectors. I'm encouraging you, yes, to go to our police stations and check that this is a reality. Over the last year, we opened a number of Thuthuzela care centers for victims of gender-based violence, and we now have a total of 62. This is by no means enough for a country like ours, which has high incidence of gender-based violence. And I've called on a number of key role players, business included, to join us in setting up more and more Thuthuzela centers throughout the country, where we should have finally a Thuthuzela center nearly in every ward in our country is exactly where we should be going. We are improving access to shelters and associated services for survivors of gender-based violence. In January last year, I signed into law 3 key pieces of legislation, namely the Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Act, the Criminal and Related Matters Amendment Act, and the Domestic Violence Amendment Act as well. These new laws provide greater protection to survivors of gender-based violence to ensure that perpetrators are no longer able to evade prosecution, and to strengthen the measures to prevent gender-based violence. Yes, Premier, as you said, we want to get to a stage where wathinta bafazi ufana ukuthi wazi ukuthi uthinta imbokodo. And that mbogoto must be the whole of society, but our government as well. We have responded to the call for tougher bail conditions for perpetrators. And in fact, we now want to move to a stage where when you touch a woman and you are arrested, no bail for you. And when you kill a woman, life sentence for you. Because there is no justifiable reason for us as men to believe that we own women. As you said, Minister Dlamini Zuma, yes, there was a period where men believed that they owned women. And we must relegate that to the past. It could have belonged to the slavery days, but today, no man must ever believe that they own a woman in South Africa. Effective from this month, no police bail may be granted to persons charged with rape or if the victim was in a domestic relationship with the perpetrator. even if it was in a domestic relationship. Such bail applications must be formally applied for in court if the accused was in a domestic relationship with the alleged victim. The court has to issue a protection order against them before releasing them on bail, but in my book, they should not even be released on bail. Also effective from earlier this month, gang or serial rapists face life imprisonment, as do perpetrators of date rape, marital rape, child rape, and incest. We are also piloting a system in a number of provinces that will enable victims of domestic violence to apply for protection orders online, where you can go online and apply for a protection order against anybody who's abusing you. Now, we congratulate all those who have been involved in ensuring that these progressive laws are rolled out as soon as possible. Awareness raising and social behavior change programs are taking place in schools, at our universities, in communities, and through door-to-door campaigns. And yet, despite progress on many fronts, women and children still get raped and abused, assaulted, and murdered by men. This tells us that it is not enough for our laws to change, for our policing to improve, for survivors to receive better care and support. That is not enough. Society needs to change. Men need to change, because many of these cases are actually done by people who are known to the women of our country. So that is why we say that society needs to change so that we can get to a point where we eliminate gender-based violence. Now, coming to sport, the women of our country are excelling in sport. That is the reality. Banyana and the Protea netball team did our country extremely proud recently. They put our flag on the global map. Banyana, as I said, won the Women's Cup and reached the top 16. The very first football team in our country to reach the top 16. Bafana has not yet succeeded. Banyana has. So Bafana must come and take lessons from Banyana. So we are very proud, and that is why I said what this means. If you look at this equation and you balance it and you calculate it, the women of our country in sport must get paid more than the men. Now, of course, we also, and I call upon our sporting organizations, I call upon the sponsors of sport to ensure that we have professional leagues, particularly in football as well as netball. Once we have professional leagues that will encourage and sharpen the skills of the women of our country, I have no doubt that the World Cup could be in our hands very soon. Now, I attended the final match of netball in Cape Town a few days ago, And Minister Zizi Kodwa encouraged me and said, President, let us as government make a commitment that we are going to build a netball arena for the women of our country. Because as Dame Nicole, who is the president of Netball, World Netball, she said to me that, President, once there is a netball arena, it is going to encourage even young girls to participate in larger numbers, and you will see a great improvement in your netball. So that is now on our screen, and we are going to ensure that there is a development like that. The Premier says he wants it here in Gauteng. Now, lastly, I want to talk about how all of us can be united in mobilizing all of society to support the women of our country on their road to empowerment and the improvement of their lives. Yes, society does need to change. We need a movement as powerful as the women who marched on the union buildings to end violence against women and children. But we also need a movement that will ensure that there is meaningful empowerment for the women of our country. We end patriarchy. We ensure that they become economically active. We need a woman that includes every woman and man in this country, that brings together every organization, every church, mosque, temple, synagogue, that involves every workplace, every school or university, every endeavor of South African life. We need a movement that extends to every town and village, that extends to every farm and homestead, every home and hostel. No one should be left behind or left out of this whole endeavor. So in the end, as we celebrate Women's Day here at the Union Buildings, we are disturbed by the troubling events in the city of Cape Town. This year, we were supposed to hold Women's Day celebration in Khayelitsha in Cape Town. However, we had to move this event, which has pleased the Premier of Gauteng immensely, to the Union Buildings because of violence associated with the taxi strike in the city. While our democracy protects peaceful protest as well as lawful strike action, we cannot condone what has been happening in Cape Town, and we strongly condemn the violence and the destruction caused by this dispute. We are appalled by the killings and the assaults that have taken place, because women have also been injured in all this. Blocked roads that lead to blocked businesses, blocked education, and blocked health services impede the services that should be given to the women of our country as well. We must uphold the law and must solve problems through meaningful dialogue. Dialogue is the best way of resolving problems, and we need to engage in dialogue. And when you engage in dialogue, it means that much as the situation may be difficult, we need to settle down, and all parties must come together to engage in dialogue without resorting to violence. Today we think of the women of Khayelitsha and the rest of Cape Town. We think about the men and the children and the families that are trying to go about their lives in peace and in safety in that part of our country. We also have a responsibility to protect lives and livelihoods. We all have a responsibility to build a safe and peaceful society. We all have a responsibility to build a society in which every girl can realize her dreams and every woman can live the life that she wants. We have come far. We still have much further to go. There are many rights that the women of our country still need to record. There are many areas that we still need to improve the lives of our women in. But working together, as the women and the men of South Africa, we will achieve the free and equal society for which generations of women have fought and strived for. And it is with these words that I wish every woman in our country to have a blessed and peaceful Women's Day. And I thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Sigazima libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe igama lamakhosi gazima libongwe igama lamakhosi gazima libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe igama lamakhosi gazima angilizwa lapha emuva igama ma libongwe ma libongwe
Koskas, watiti Bogoto, watitu mama, pambili ngabalungelo mama pambili, pambili ngabalungelo mama pambili, sipilele Ramaphosa, sipilele, sipilele Mam Sophie, sipilele, sipilele Mama Nkosazana Zuma, sipilele, Amandla. Thank you very much. His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Ubaba Cyril Ramaphosa. We take this opportunity to thank him. Kakhulu kakhulu ngokuthi he brought majority of solutions to our answers and our misery where we are at home in our villages, in our townships. Where we are working, we find difficulties. Where we are not being recognized and we are not part of this economy of our beautiful country. Siyabonga kakhulu mongameli ngoba sesiphethe ispeech sakho today. Sizophatha sona kusasa. Siyokokotha kwezinye indawo. Siyobabuza ukuthi bahambe kangakanani ngale ntetho yakamongameli ya today. From tomorrow, we are going to hold your speech by hand. We are going to knock in all offices that has responsibility to change women's lives where they are. From tomorrow, we'll greet many important people. Hi, many important people, hi. Hi, Safa, hi. Not only we want to know, we want to know how soon are they going to make sure that those beautiful girls are getting equal pay to their counterparts. Tomorrow, sizayokokotha kubaphathi bemali basitshela ukuthi la 40% how far are they now so that they give us answers. La kufuneka abadlwenguli nababulali bangaphufumani pay. We are going to go to one of the ministers who have solutions for him or her to tell us how far did it go to make sure that those who are killing our women and rape them, whether he has concluded or she has concluded the fact that they shouldn't get a bail. We'll be holding your speech, Mr. President, from tomorrow to make sure that human rights are women's rights. From tomorrow, we are going to go and ask questions. Ukuti, the captain of industries, how far did they go in making sure that they employ young women so that they can be part and parcel of our economy? Tomorrow, we are not asking something that is coming out of our heads, but the President of the Republic did say all of these things. Our responsibility is to go and find out. Tomorrow, masikokoza kwakho ungasasibuzi kuzobe ku tomorrow sizobuza ukuthi uzokwenza njani ngentetho yakamongameli. Tomorrow we can come as a huge group. Tomorrow we can come as a smaller group. Tomorrow, because umongameli usikhuphile isiqondiso. This August 9 is not like all others. This one, we now know what is our government doing. We now know where the frustrations are. To an extent, we are going to be able to hold on and make sure that those questions are given suitable answers. Not just answers, but suitable answers. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Siyabonga kakhulu. Asimshayeleni izandla umongameli. Asimshayeleni izandla umongameli. Asiqhwabe kakhulu ngendaba kamongameli ayitshilo lana. Asikikize umongameli uyithekele izinto. Anginizwa. Uzokwenzani tomorrow? Tomorrow sobe sisema ofisini amakhulu. Siyobuza into ekhulwe umongameli tomorrow. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Wathinta ibhokoto. Wathinta umama. Ayaroka. Amayanga. Ayaroka. Amayanga. Ayaroka. Amayanga. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you very much. We now, because we are very happy, we are very excited. There was no way that we can leave everything, every responsibility that we're supposed to do and come here, Mongameli, and don't get answers from our frustrations. So we did not waste time today to come and be part of this event. We are going home more energized. We now know what's going to happen. Everybody who is holding something, we heard that women should benefit out of that. And as such, you must tell us how far are you. If you have not started, woe unto you. If you have not started, woe unto you. If you don't have a plan with time frames, woe unto you. Ungabuzi ukuthi wobuza kumongameli. Thina siyoyizibuzela ukuthi where's your plan? What time frames are there? What progress you are doing? If you don't have all that, woe unto you. Ungasibuzi. Tomorrow ungasibuzi. Kusasa ungasibuzi. We are going to be your guests. A very beautiful guest. We want answers from all of you. Those who are given responsibilities, we need answers and nothing else. No manga, no story. Sifuna ukuthi wenzani ngokuthi amakhosikazi occupy their right positions. Asesekhona umama Sophie isithwalandwe. azonqina, and she must be able to say our march in 1956 was not a waste of time. By next week, she must be smiling in her house and the girls, because some majority of things that she marched for would have been resolved. Those who will not be resolved, there will be tangible time frames. And if people are taking time to resolve those issues, sizoya sikundwendwele singalaba bantu. We will get to your space at this number, so that uzosifa kahle ukuthi sithini, angithi na mayanga angithi sokwenza kanjalo ngomso siyobabuza ukuthi what are you doing about the plight of our women, the majority of the citizens of this country, those who vote regardless of their circumstances? What are you doing about changing their lives? Akusho mina upresident oche kanjalo, thina sifuna nje all the answers. Thank you so much, Mr. President. It was quite a very beautiful and encouraging speech. And makhosikazi, fanele siye naseKapa. Siyobabuza ukuthi ke ma ingane zethu sezingasakwazi uye esikolweni kuzokwenziwa kanjani? Ma singasakwazi ukuya emsebenzini sokwenza kanjani? Ngomso angeke silalele abantu abakhuluma into esingayizwa. Baba abantu bethu bevalelekile emalokishini bengakwazi ukumuva. So hamba nondosi ngomso. Tomorrow so hamba nondosi. President sinodinga nondosi. Uzohamba phambili ababuza ukuthi uthi baye kanjani esikolweni. Ma uphethe inganono emini kungena mfazwe uthi bazafika kanjani emsebenzini. Ma uhlelele ukuthi uthi wena left wena uthi right, ucabanga ukuthi izinto zabo bazawuzenza nini? Ngaba umncane kanja uyithatha into yokuba le cheat enje ukhulume as if this is your own space. Tomorrow, because we can't wait. Mam Sophie said they marched in 1956. It was too long when they embarked on that march. We are now coming to almost the tail end of our program. Sizobiza abantu abazos entertainer usisidudu batsho ukuthi bathini bona ngaleli langa elihle kangaka. What are they saying? We are not crying, we are not complaining, we are celebrating the good work done by our forebearers or Mama Sophie. The good work done by the President of the Republic. He led all forces to make sure that we benefit. However, he says, ngomlomo wakhe akwanelanga. So we are going to make sure that kwanele. And now we are giving over to yourselves. As we are waiting for that beautiful band, sizo dansa la, ilanga lethu le. We are going to call upon the MMC that has been given a responsibility to come and thank all of us. And in that way, we want to be with President until we get the vote of thanks. And we allow him to go and do everything else, including what he was talking about today. Thank you very much. Over to you, MMC.
So, not even tomorrow. Yeah, I feel energized by that. Program directors. Oh,
Malibongwe. Bomama ne re kopa re tse vote of thanks and then re tla opela ka boikokobetso batsadi ba me Ka boikokobetso tle a re tseng vote of thanks and then re tlo opela. Ra leboga.
Program directors, our president, Dr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, Minister of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Minister Zizi Gotwa, Minister of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities in the Presidency, Menko Sazana Dlamini Zuma, all other ministers present, Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, May Nokawe Mafu, and all other deputy ministers, DDGs and DGs from the different departments, Premier of Gauteng, Tate Panyaza Lisufi, MSCs present, May Sophie de Brain, delegates from the different embassies, councillors from the City of Tshwane and all other municipalities, officials from the different departments, all media houses, ladies and gentlemen, Dumelang, Absheni, Sanbonani, Goeiemiddag. Good afternoon. Let me thank you all for coming and making this event such a huge success. Let me just narrow this a bit. Thank you for joining us as we send a strong message to everyone out there that our women have the right to walk freely in their country, our women have the right to sleep safe in their houses, and our women have the right to be safe as they drive their cars. That's the message we're sending out there. They have the right like all of us. Thank you, Mr. President, for gracing the occasion, for honoring women on this special day where women are celebrated, when we reflect on the day women took it upon themselves to fight inequality and injustice. Let me thank our national and provincial departments of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation for organizing an event of this magnitude in honor of our beautiful women. Also thank the Premier, our Premier in Gauteng, Premier Lisufi, for supporting the event. Also thank all the ministers and deputy ministers for spending the day with us in the City of Tshwane. Mayor Sophie de Brain, thank you for your presence. Not forgetting the role you played in 1956 and you continue to play. Let me thank every single person involved in making sure the event is a success. Thank the performers for their breathtaking performances, and also take this opportunity to say to you, the choir which performed here, the Bukamuso Choir from Tshwane, won in 3 categories at the World Choir Games. Let's give them a round of applause. The competitions were held last month, July, in South Korea. Let me also thank our safety officers and all security personnel. Your role is always appreciated, not forgetting all service providers. Let me finally thank all the beautiful and resilient women from all walks of life for coming to celebrate this day with us. You are all beautiful in your own right, all of you. The City of Tshwane thanks every one of you for descending on the union buildings on this beautiful day to celebrate our women. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Bagolo go na le ngwana a re lebitso la hae ke Khatu o kgaogane le batsadi ne re kopa batsadi ba Khatu ba tle kwano ba tlo tsa ngwana tu ne re kopa ba tlo mo tsaya re tla mo keepa safe kwano lebitso la ngwana ke Khatu ke mosetsanyana o mo pilanyana ke o riro raskalla re kopa re re yana ne re alawe the ke batle ke re table re alawe president premier le the ministers gore ba exit ne re kopa la bofelo fela go letsatsi la ka tseno re meka maoto re ba leboge gore be ba tlile le rona ba khone gore ba tswe ya re ka nna ra opela bo mama mola ne ke le stopile askis opela nyanoge re ka opela tomorrow